Hey, we should be live. Thank you so much for being here. I am sorry for the slight delay. I actually got carried away with the painting process. Oops, the audio should be bad. Let me... 1 second. Let me test. The audio is probably bad. Probably double. I have to test it. Give me a second. Oh no, we're good. We're good. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. We can get started. We can get going. Much appreciated. Sorry about the mess in the background. Let me bring up the chat for a second. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Why is the quality annoying? I don't know why it looks a little. I don't know. It's fine. Quality looks kind of okay-ish, but not that great. Anyway, cheers, everyone. Thank you for being here. So we'll get started finally. This is actually going to be just a fun chat stream. It's been a while. Ruth is not here. Maybe she'll join us later. The reason I was delayed, actually, it's a bit silly, but I got really carried away. I started a new painting. I just shared it on my Instagram story, but here it is. So yeah, it's always like this when I have a little time is when I find myself most absorbed in a process, and it's silly. But in any case, let's see who's in the house. Hey, Joey, thank you so much for letting me know. Hey, Pam, hope you're doing well. Hey, Nancy, good morning to you too. Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Hey, Jacqueline, how are you doing? Hey, Golden Pigeon, hope you're doing well. John, hi, hope you're well and doing okay. How's your knee today? Thank you. Yeah, it's getting better. I will definitely keep you updated during this stream. We'll let you know how it goes. Golden Pigeon, feel free to ask any questions you have. I'll address them as the stream goes along. I go to physiotherapy, like an actual place for physiotherapy 3 times a week. That's been the last week. So far, I'm gonna be there again on Sunday. Kind of a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday deal. And it's getting better. It's getting much better. I can walk, no crutch, no knee brace. Just have to be careful and walk slowly and be very aware. The muscles are slowly getting back to it. I don't have the range. Like, I can't do this in terms of angle. I can go only about, 80 degrees. That's 90, about 80, I guess, 70, something like that. Which is a little frustrating, actually, but slowly but surely. Trying to be patient. It has been only two weeks, about 2 weeks. I dislocated it the Tuesday before last, so 2 weeks and 2 days, I guess. So I'm trying to be patient with it. But yeah, it will slowly improve. Thank you so much for asking. Hey, Gazala, let me know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Hey, Karina from Laredo, Texas. Cool, thank you for being here. Tembo, hey, how are you doing? Sounds good. Looks good. Thank you. Amy, hey. RK Fab Art, good evening to you. We have every time zone represented here. Here it's, of course, 4 p.m., the usual, almost usual time, as always. My name, hi, how are you doing? Jacqueline, you need to do a video about your setup. I recently bought an extra camera so my videos can look more professional. Yeah, it's so what cameras do you have, Jacqueline? If you're having 2 webcams, it's very easy. I just use OBS, bring in both cameras, and we're good to go. And I have a capture card for the tabletop Panasonic Handycam that turns it into a webcam, and you bring everything together in OBS. It works like magic. Hey, Sabine, hope you're doing well from Grenoble. Grenoble, is that how it's pronounced, or is it Grenoble, or something fancy? Let me know. Lauren, hello. I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't know if I can read that, but yeah. Golden Pigeon, why do I get a lot of cauliflower effect? And if there are 2 same colors but different objects, they merge together, why? And how to avoid them and how to draw humans. Yeah, so that's a lot of questions. Oh, happy to hear, Gazala. Yes, good. My pronunciation is usually it's good. Golden Pigeon, that's a lot of questions. Let's tackle them. A lot of cauliflowers. I have this video how to stop overworking your watercolors. That's what it's titled pretty much, so you can check it out. It talks exactly about that. It's usually created when there's a difference in wetness that is kind of undesired. The thing is, the way to solve it, and again, if there are two colors next to one another and they merge together, the way to solve it is really to develop the intuition to know when it happens. So one exercise that really helps me with it is to do patchwork. So I'm just painting a shape in one color, quickly mixing another one, painting a shape next to it, and I can actually find that video. And I notice what happens in the edges. The more you get used to doing these patches one next to another. So for example, even in the painting I just did now, I have a little blooper here with a mini cauliflower. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. Above my finger. It won't matter as much because I'm going to glaze over it again. But you know, it's something that can happen occasionally. Usually it happens when there's a big difference in wetness. That's the thing. So if one thing is very wet, one thing is much less wet, then it happens. If something is almost dry, sometimes it won't happen. Sometimes it will. It's really about developing that intuition. Let me find that video for you. I think it's called Liron Intermediate. I mean, that's what I'll search for. Watercolor exercises. Let's see here. Yes, it is 3 advanced watercolor techniques, I call it, but it's actually more like exercises. And yeah, I think that's the best way to address it. Oh yeah, I call it mixing on paper, but blending edges. I don't know. It's all of these. All of these are useful, but I think. Let's see if I can find... I think I had another one. You know, that's the problem with having... I don't know how many videos. I have so many videos on YouTube that I can't even begin to tell how many. But here it is. It's this video. This is the one you want to check out. One of the exercises there is quite useful for that. But it's all that intuition. Let's see... hey Edze, so I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly, but hello, Ekaterina, hope you're doing well. Jacqueline, my phone, my camcorder, and Mac webcam. I use OBS 2, still learning about the audio. Phone, camcorder, and Mac webcam. Yeah, so any webcam, like a simple Logitech kind of thing with the Mac is the easiest setup you can do. Yeah, audio, I'm not an expert. It's a learning process for me too. For example, I was sure we're gonna get duplicate audio channels here, both my webcam and my mic, but it seems like that's not the case. Probably, yeah, I can just turn it off. Actually, I can mute it. It's something I'm still experimenting with. It's a bit of a learning curve if you're not trying to actively learn it. If you're trying to actively learn it, you can learn it quite fast. I just don't really care as long as the audio is good. Not here. Maybe she'll visit later. Hey Sujanith, hope you're doing well. You got it, Golden Pigeon. You actually had one more thing, probably. Yeah, draw humans. That's you have to, you know, some subjects you just have to be familiar with because you don't know what you don't know. So it's actually about drawing and painting people. The more you do that, the more you'll learn the patterns. You'll start to develop an understanding of how things work, how things look. And yeah, that's also, I would say, a bit of a learning curve. But very doable. You know, at some point, talking about drawing people, I see so many artists that just you can tell they can't paint people, which is fine. But then I see a lot of artists who are so good in watercolor, they have beautiful control and great composition, but then they still don't know how to paint or draw people. That drives me crazy for myself. Like, I would never be able to do that. So at some point, I made the decision to work on that in particular. If you make that decision, you'll start getting the patterns. Now, if you just treat people as a part of the scene, you will also improve. You'll also learn slowly but surely, but there are so many small things that if you actually learn the structure of the human body, it will immediately lead to more believable people. Even if you practice or learn for a few weeks, it will make a huge difference. So yeah, my 2 cents on that. Nancy, when is your painting auction? The auction starts, so I have to check with the auction, with the person managing and running the whole thing. She's great. I need to check with her if people from outside Israel can place bids. I'm actually not sure. I don't know if it's close to that. It's a matter of shipping too, because the paintings are framed. I don't know if they ship abroad, which complicates things. The auction starts in about 20-something days, and 4 out of the 7 paintings already have a bid on them, like the minimum bid. The minimum bid is relatively low. It's around $140, $150. I mean, it's not a little amount of money, but it's relatively low for my paintings, I think. But that's the whole idea. And the auction hasn't even started. It's just they list the paintings. They let them sit for about a month without the auction beginning, and people can already start placing their bids. Then the auction runs, and that's when, maybe you get more action. But already essentially 4 out of the 7 of them are purchased, probably. It's just a matter of will they climb more, and the rest will probably get bids too. I will keep you updated on the results if they're interesting, and if I'm proud of them, I'll let you know how much and for how much they were sold. But unless I'm certain that everyone can place bids, there's no use to, have people think they can and then they can't. I don't want to create a mess there. But yeah, RK Fab Out, it's 6:30 here. Cool. 6:30, is it AM? Like in the morning? Early riser? Or is it in the evening? Because I think you said good evening, right, RK? Was it good evening? I think it was good evening. Yeah, it's good evening. Okay, good. My name. I think one good way to prevent cauliflower is to keep the paper wet enough to keep the paint flow. Yeah, that's another way, but then again, you have to be always aware of the paper being wet, and when it's that wet and when it's this wet. I still don't feel like I have a full grasp of pre-wetting the paper. Not even close. I never get it to look the way I want. I'll almost always have better results wet on dry. I don't know why. It's just something that's complicated, So Janith, why did you leave acrylics? I never really was into acrylics. I just did a few experiments. I have a few paintings that I did, but I don't really enjoy that technique. I think after trying more opaque media, I'm more of a person of either, pencil, charcoal, kind of graphite type, or watercolor. I find it very, or even like, what do you call it? Pastels, I even kind of like. I can't be bothered to mix and mix and mix and place and mix and mix and mix and place and mix and place and mix and place and look at the patches. I like the look. I just really don't enjoy the process as of now. May change in the future, but I was made for watercolor. I have no idea why, but I'm happy because it's not the most prestigious medium, so that goes to show that I just love it. I can't do anything else, really. I don't have really much choice, honestly. I can force myself. And good question about the gouache, my name. Yeah, that's the one thing I should try, because it's so dilutable and so similar to watercolor, if anything. Especially for details and bringing back highlights, I should definitely try. I haven't. Just my designer's gouache, just a white. I never really used it outside of that. Katerina, well, I have to go. Sorry, family stuff. I came to say hi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate just dropping by and saying hi. I mean, that's cool. Thank you so much. Jacqueline, my last 2 video audio mistakes. Being a YouTube artist has extra challenges. Yeah, it's tough in the beginning. Yeah, I remember. If you go to my channel and you filter the videos from oldest to newest, you'll see some cringe stuff. Yeah, if you have any specific questions, feel free to even email me. Because a specific problem would be easier for me to solve, because there are so many little things that can pop up, especially with audio, and we're so visually oriented. I think I am, at least, that the audio thing doesn't always come naturally. Pam, I have been finding myself putting 2 or 3 colors on my brush when mixing colors. I'm getting some great mixes. Interesting. Yeah, I've been discussing this with a few people. Placing multiple colors on the brush and then doing it in one kind of brush mark that can look really beautiful. It's a tool that I barely ever utilize, and it could be interesting to try. You know, it could be very interesting. Oh, by the way, I wanted to update you. So you have seen this painting process, right? I believe it's already out on YouTube. I'm so messy with the schedule. But yeah, this one's out. I will have another one. I'll bring it. I'll show you. I don't think I've shown this one before. This is going to be next week. You're going to get this video. This is really fun because essentially I painted that in one go. 0 glazes. You know, I always say that's what I aspire to. Well, this time I made it. 0 glazes, nothing. Just the first time, and working very patiently and carefully with the wash and really working it until I like it. And no pencil lines at all. This was painted without any pencil lines whatsoever. It's all shape based, which was to me great fun. You know, unless it's a very complex composition, I think there's a lot of value, and that's going to be Tuesday's video, next Tuesday. Saturday, I have a different video for you, by the way. But you know, what's the purpose of lines at the end of the day? It's just to define the structure. To me, I really enjoy when I'm able to just use the paint as the drawing medium, if that makes sense. And I don't refer to using a thin brush and drawing with the paint. I refer to just, I am placing the shape as I see it, painting just in shapes. It's so fun and satisfying to me. It does pose different challenges, but it's almost like removing another constraint from my work process. And I think if I practice this more, I'll be able to utilize it more fully. So just a heads up on the videos that are upcoming, and you'll see this one, just shape-based. I can give you a sneak peek maybe towards the end of the live stream, just to show you a bit of the process if you want. Golden Pigeon, I'm a beginner at painting and have a lot of problems. How to make the flow of water enough. Sometimes it gets too wet and starts running everywhere, and sometimes it's too less. Let's see if I can find part 2. That it stops in like 3 centimeters. Sometimes I mix colors in the raw colors. I put white color in place and later I sometimes mix other colors in that place. It gets with white. Yeah, you know, a lot of these things, I get them. It's really about finding your solution to that, your own solution. That's the thing that usually happens in the first couple of weeks, couple of months, is one almost has to find their own solution to these problems. Because, for example, how to make the flow of water better. I can tell you, you know, mix enough paint in advance, put the paper at an angle so that gravity helps you. But unless you actually experiment and try out a lot of things and learn what works best for you, any solution that I'll give you will be limited. So what I would say is, you know, necessity is the best tool to lead you there. Like, necessity is the mother of all invention, all of that. I'll give you an example, right? When you paint really big paintings, like think over 1 meter or 2 meters long, huge watercolors, which you barely see people do, right? I have this one here, Divination, always next to me here, rolled up. That's a huge painting, and people paint even larger than that. How the heck do you deal with how do you solve the problem of wetness or not having enough water? It'll take ages to mix, you'll lose the flow, it's a mess. Even if you use large brushes, use a water bottle as your water source. This is an example I give often. How I solved this is just, I put water in a cup and just spilled it all over the paper. That was the only way for me to wet it enough. So I never read about, you know, use a water cup and spill it over the paper. No one told me to do that. And it's something I'll immediately use the next time I have this kind of a painting. So a lot of these, that's the best thing you can do is try and solve your own problem for yourself, right? With that said, I do have plenty of videos explaining these things, so you can search the channel, you'll find them. But I'm trying to be very light touch when it comes to, you know, how to do things. because I feel like if you actually stumble upon your own solution, it will serve you better. It'll be more accurate to you, if that makes sense, right? I hope it does. Nancy G, does a little shingle painting have a bid? Yes, it has. It has a bid. The shingles has a bid. I have another one, scaffolding. I actually don't have it here because it's already, I sent them all to be framed. Shingles has a bid. The one I showed you, the rooftops of Venice, also has a bid. It's actually the view from Palazzo Contarini, the one with the spiraling. It was an old theater, I believe. It was a spiraling staircase. And which one else has The Boss? That's another good one. I shared it with you here too. That was a great, I think, process with the cafe scene and the person there handing over stuff. That was a very liked painting. Yeah, okay, no worries. I went back and checked and I saw it was PM. Joshua, hey, how are you doing? Jacqueline, is it Thursday in Israel? I'm in the US. Yes, it is Thursday. The way it works, we're just 7 hours or 10 hours, depending on where you're at, 7 hours later. So in your morning is our afternoon. That's how it works. So you're 8:15 a.m. We are now it's later, 4:24 p.m. That's how it works. It's a very interesting way to work, having worked in a company that has, we worked with people from the US. What I liked about it is we're at the office early. I can get a lot of work done. By the time the American team wakes up, I'm already on top of my game. I really like that format. Actually got to work quite a lot with people on the US side in multiple settings. So yeah. And now, obviously, as whatever this thing is, my profession. It's so funny. People ask me my profession. I'm like, yeah, artist. Artist isn't enough to encapsulate it, because honestly, things like videos, the live streams, communicating, sharing our journey and replying to comments and messages. That's a huge part of what I do. It's my bread and butter. It always has been. I always enjoy that aspect. So, I can say I'm an artist, but it's way more complex than that. So I always say artist. And then everyone keeps asking the usual questions, oh, that's cool. You make a living out of it? And yes. And then it's like, not a lot of people can say that. I'm like, yes, it is true, yeah. So it's funny. By the way, maybe in a future auction, if it happens, I'll probably put the cactus painting, because that one is, I'm very happy with it. My name has a suggestion for Golden Pigeon. I'd rather paint runs everywhere. The effect is nice, watching all colors blend together. Yeah, to some extent. Sometimes it blends too much and it turns into a gray. But yeah, it's true. If the colors preserve their independence, I'm looking at this painting here, because you can tell, things run together, but they still kind of maintain their essence. But yeah. Mark, what's up, Liron? Hola from Madrid. Mark, you're not from Madrid, right? Is that vacation? Let me know. I'm curious. I'm pretty sure, right? You don't live there. Maybe I'm confused. I'm not sure. Hey, Kenneth. Good morning from Southern California. Jacqueline, I used to be exclusively acrylic abstracts. Ooh, I love acrylic abstracts. I think it lends itself so well to that. More than oils, by the way, if you ask me. Now, since 2020, I'm exclusively watercolor and love it. Yep, watercolor family here. Gazala, can I use varnish on watercolor painting? Yes. You do have to experiment. I would never use varnish on a painting without knowing what will happen. Even if it's made for watercolor, sometimes it can look crappy. So I would definitely test it on a bunch of just squiggly shapes and take a few, scraps where you painted some stuff you don't like or you aren't going to use. Test it out there first. I would test it out and leave it for a couple of weeks also to see that it doesn't do anything funky. But yeah, there is varnish for watercolor in particular. If I'm not mistaken, Schminke has some. Probably a lot of other brands that have some too. Nancy, have you heard of the Whiskey Painters of America? I have, because I have a palette by Whiskey Painters. I'm I'm actually not sure what it is. A unique fellowship of watercolor, wit, and whiskey and camaraderie. But I do have a whiskey palette, so I knew it's a thing. I'm just not really sure. I'll leave a tab open. Maybe I'll read later. Golden Pigeon, we did that. Joshua, I don't know why the message was retracted. Send it again. Mark Donovan, come on guys, 49 watching and only 19 likes. Oh, come on. Everyone, you have to hit the like button. Sorry. So I decided to spoil myself, made coffee, and then put a scoop of ice cream in it. It has nuts in it, which I don't like, but whatever. That was the ice cream I had. I'd much rather it had like chocolate chunks or something like that. But it does make it tastier. It's a chunky, whatever it's called. Chunky donkey, chunky monkey. I don't know. Buzzo. Technically, if you have white gouache, you can try mixing it with watercolor to make them more opaque. Yep, I'm actually doing it quite a bit. Golden Pigeon, how many layers should we paint in watercolor? As many as you like, my friend. There are no limitations. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want. I have paintings that were done in one go, like this. Single layer. You can see it here, right here, behind me. Kind of peeking through, and I showed it earlier. I have paintings that were done in 7, 8 layers, thin glazes. I had layers that were done in 8 layers that are thick layers. It will really depend on what you're trying to paint. Now, remember, you are the artist. I'm not sure if you're used to maybe following tutorials on painting based on other people, but if you find something that really moves you to paint it, something you like, maybe even a person you know, like a family member, friend, or like someone's car, for example, something that is personal, a view from your street, where you live, your house, and you just try and paint it in your way without getting any, instructions or rules for yourself to follow, you'll discover quite a bit. I think it can be beneficial to study techniques, study others for a while, but then at the end of the day, there's a completely different vector where it's not about studying, it's more about discovering. And I think if you do that, you'll discover a lot of how you like to create and so on. So I would definitely give it a try. Sorry for that. Technical difficulties of me blowing my nose. And sorry, Mark. Oh, I must have forgotten. I was sure you don't live in Madrid currently. I'll get to your comment in a second. Jansard, good morning from Central USA. Always good to catch your live videos. Yeah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being here. It's been like I missed last week. Honestly, it was so hard. Was it last week or before or both? I don't remember. I was in so much pain. It would have been very hard for me to focus. It was that bad, the knee pain. So that's life. I just can't wait for it to heal. My left leg is a beast right now because it had to bear all the load that is my body weight. Luckily, I was in good shape before I dislocated because otherwise it would have been a nightmare. I don't know what would happen, but both my legs were very strong. My hips too, because I've been practicing. I've been doing a lot of deadlifts, squats, everything. The whole thing, and the jiu-jitsu. A lot of improved flexibility, improved motion, range of motion. So I don't know. I'm just thankful that I think the recovery has been pretty, relatively simple. My main concern is damage, like actual damage that was done to the ligaments. It's the PMFL, I think it's called. I don't know what it's called. Posterior patellar. No, I don't remember, but it's the P something MFL one that my orthopedist was especially worried about. I mean, that was the one he said I probably torn a bit of. We won't know until the MRI. That's going to be in September. So usually it takes longer to get an MRI. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. That's the thing that concerns me. I can't even think about going back to jiu-jitsu right now. Scares me, honestly, because now I'm thinking, okay, what other scenarios can I dislocate it in there? Because that's where you place a lot of different angles of weight on the legs and different weird movements that I'm grateful for because it strengthened them. It probably conditioned me to handle this injury better. Ironically enough, had I gotten this injury without doing jiu-jitsu and being in shape, probably had it worse. But yeah, it's gonna be just gym. I want maybe some calisthenics, learning how to do a handstand, all of this stuff, just to better control my body. And then, when I have certainty about, sorry for going on the knee tangent, but once I have certainty as for the ligaments, if they're fully healed, maybe I can think of a solution to help stabilize the knee while training, like a Kinzio whatever tape or a knee brace that is meant for exercising. Or if I have to get a surgery because the orthopedist will recommend it, then that only when I have full certainty I'll consider going back, which sucks. I miss it a lot. I forgot how much it sucks without jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Aaron, perfect. I just got a coffee-related commission. Looking forward to it. Oh, cool. Yeah, so that's going to work perfectly for you, the painting, right? Joey Best, the eggs, such a mundane subject, but the painted picture is very interesting. Can't wait for the coffee. Thank you for doing these. I enjoyed them. Yeah, thank you so much. They do have some likeness to them. When you look at the colors, they all play on that, gray. I also used, for both, I used Turner's yellow instead of Hansa yellow medium. Turner's yellow has a completely different feel as a yellow. It's much more subtle, almost. So it doesn't show much. The way it mixes with other colors. This is why I always say, people ask me about what colors mix well together, how I treat opaque and transparent. And to me, it's more like, once again, developing an intuition as to what a certain trio of colors will look like, what a certain 4 colors will look like. It's always that. It's so hard for me to think about these things scientifically, so if I'm mixing an opaque yellow with a transparent red, what kind of orange will I get? And is it better to use these for early washes or for later washes? Honestly, I have no answers for this. All I can tell you is my own experience speaks for me, and it's just I can tell you what colors feel like together, what trios of primary colors kind of work or feel a little off, but it's very hard to give a general answer, But yeah. So, Janith, if I have only 45 minutes a day, how could I use it for watercolor? I think too much before watercolor. Whatever it is you want to do, just do that. If it will take more than 45 minutes, you just stop and continue the next day. Just like this painting. I painted for 15 minutes before the live stream. Live stream came up, stopped, even though I was in full swing. And I will continue it maybe later after the live stream, maybe tomorrow, maybe over the weekend, maybe next week. Just do the thing you want to do or you were gonna do anyway, and stop once the time is up. I don't have any, like a routine, like a warm-up anymore. I don't do that. 45 minutes a day is a lot. Honestly, I would dare say, if you understand how to create a business around your art, 45 minutes of painting a day is enough to make a full-time living from watercolor. I don't mean 45 minutes of work. I mean 45 minutes of painting. You will have a lot of work that is not painting, obviously, hours and hours of it. But just on the painting side of things, if you can spend 45 minutes a day painting, you can make enough art to make a living from, assuming it finds its market and it can sell for a price that allows you to live off of it. That's truly what I believe. Because 45 minutes a day, that's a painting. Maybe a painting every 2 days, right? So it's like 3 paintings a week. 2 if they're really complex. 1 if it's really complex. And if it's really complex and large and complicated, I would assume it will sell for more. So just on the selling art side, without talking about how to sell, how to find an audience, how to develop yourself how to build a name, how to build a brand, without all of these things, just the painting time, it's well over the minimum I think that it takes. I don't know if I were to total all the hours I'm painting, yeah, it would probably be more than 45 hours a day on average, but not much more. I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2, maybe 3 in some times where I spend a lot of time painting. Then maybe I need some water. Then maybe it'll be, 3 hours a day, every day. Tembo, answering to Gazala, I've seen many watercolor paintings printing cold wax. Yeah, I heard about that too. I wanted to mention it. I just never tried it out, so I don't know. I can't comment on it. My name, Liron. Do you have a different approach to different subjects for painting, or would you stick to the same process if you paint regardless of the subject? So here's the thing. I won't stick to the same process. I have many different approaches and many different ways of doing things that I will use more based on what I'm trying to achieve and the feeling I have at the moment than the painting subject, if that makes sense. So yes, I have tons of different approaches and tons of different processes that I go into instinctively. I don't even think about it often. I'll just get started with the painting the way it feels right. And in retrospect, I can say, oh, I use this approach here, I use that approach there. But it has nothing to do with the subject matter necessarily. More about my feeling and the thing I'm trying to maybe achieve. Sometimes I'll have a scene that really inspires me to create a high level of accuracy and realism, and then you'll find me maybe using it one process. And then sometimes I'll feel like just want to get crazy, use a different process. So yeah. That's kind of how I approach it. I see a joke coming, Joshua. Why was the artist in jail? Because he was framed. That's good. That's a good one. That's a great dad joke. I'm gonna use it. Jacqueline Parks. I did a painting of my husband without sketch and just painted shapes. It actually looked like him. Amazing. Yeah, for a portrait is tough. I don't know if it was portrait or maybe his entire body, maybe from afar, but amazing. It's such a fun way of doing things, honestly. I feel like it awakens something different in you because, again, I enjoy so much working based on instinct that I feel like it allows me more to open up that instinct. I talk about it in the video. It's almost like using pen and ink versus pencil. The pen and ink is final. It's done. You do it and it's done. And thanks to that, it awakens some kind of boldness in you. That's what I find personally for me, Savage Grammy. Hi, Liron. Can't wait to start next Tuesday's Coffee Cup. Looks cool. Yeah, you're going to love it, I think. And that's an awesome username. Mark, the cup on the table with great use of light and shadow. You've rendered it beautifully. I should try more still life paintings. Used to do them in the sketchbook. Yeah, they're great fun. They're really fun. I'm way behind on the messages. My apologies. Let me know if you prefer I'd always stick to the chat. I have no idea because I just try to read everyone's messages. Terry, do you have a favorite brand you stick to? No, not really. I use a bunch of brands, tons of them. I at least 5-6 different brands that I use on a regular basis. For brushes it's 2-3. Paints as much as that. Yep. Let's see. Savage Grammy, I love how you mix shadow colors in place correctly. Yeah, it's a lot of it is even like correctly. It's there are so many ways of placing it correctly. That's the thing. I think if you follow that vision and impression that the subject matter awakens in you, it's almost like you can make no mistake. It's a kind of a weird zen place to be in, but it actually works. That's what I find. Diresh the Gamer. Hey, I'm 11 years old and I love to draw, but I'm not able to draw good. So can you give me some tips for watercolor portraits and sceneries? Yeah, it's really about what you see there, right? So if you ask yourself, why am I even sitting down and painting? There has to be something about the thing you're painting that makes you want to paint it. Right, so you look at a nice view, and even if like you get a maybe school chore or kind of a homework thing that you have to paint something, you almost can always look at the thing you want to paint and find something you love about it. If you let that kind of love and passion carry you through the process, it will end up looking great no matter what. On a more practical, I think this is the most practical, by the way, thing I can say, but on a more like technical side of things, yes, practicing specific techniques just once or twice or a couple of times to make sure you can use them can be useful. So you try and do a flat, even wash, try to do a gradated wash, try to draw, a specific subject, learn about how it's structured, right? Like the human head, what it looks like from different angles. There are a lot of 3D models online. You can rotate and study them really, really well. That's on the technical side, but at the end of the day, the thing that when you look at the painting or drawing you make and you think to yourself, wow, that looks so cool, that's usually thanks to another factor. And it's something you find about the thing you're painting or drawing that's really cool that makes you want to draw and paint it, if that makes sense. So I would say, why do you paint? Why do you draw? Why do you paint? What makes you want to draw? Find that thing. It will carry you completely. It will just do everything for you. So yeah, that's what I would say. Carrie Ann, sorry your message was retracted. Feel free to send it again. But yeah. Terry Leon, are you an advocate of single pigments? Let's see, I see spam. Okay. Definitely not Kim Jong-un. I don't know what's the angle here, but we'll see. We'll see. Terry, are you an advocate of single pigments only? Some artists seem to stick. Yeah, it's the same thing that I addressed earlier. I have no opinion on that at all. To me, it's about what specific colors I have. I'll practice and experiment with them. And I will learn for myself the way they work. I honestly couldn't even tell you from the colors I have. I probably remember some if it's a single pigment, but most of them I'll be like, yeah, I've no idea. I know quinacridone rose is a single pigment. I know phthalo blue, French ultramarine is a single pigment. I think Hansa yellow medium is a single pigment. I think so. Not even sure. By Daniel Smith. I know that neutral tint is not. It has like 3 different colors in it, or 2. I don't remember even. So yeah, I couldn't say. That's not the thing I can tell, Okay, yeah, definitely Kim Jong-un. We're gonna skip you, fellow. Terry Leon, follow Doodle Wash prompts. They do daily prompts every day, and they're great for practicing technique without too much worry about the outcome. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I love these prompts. I no longer really need them because I have so much that I want to paint, but yeah, that's a great thing, especially if you're kind of uncertain and you're still really experimenting in the beginning. That's a great direction. Gold Pigeon, are you 12 years old? What's the word for it? Like the way you express yourself is very mature, very clear. Christine, follower of Christ, loving all of your paintings and enjoy your teaching. Thank you. P.S. I love your content and prayer for all. Thank you. Yeah. We need all the prayers we can get. The world's a mess everywhere you look, so I guess we're no different. But yeah, thank you so much. Lude says hi. Mark, yes, I do live. Finally, we got to that message. I do live. So sorry about the delay. I do live in Madrid. I was born in the UK, but moved to Spain for the second time in 2017. I've always been visiting Spain throughout my life because my mom is Spanish. Oh, cool. She moved in 2017. So now I will remember. Mark is actually in Madrid, lives there. Good. I got it. Carrie, beautiful morning to you. Beautiful morning to you too. Prakar, do you also teach online? It's night in India. Yep. Yeah, I love India as always. It's night when I stream, so I always remember at some point people have to go to bed and so on. Yeah, I do most of the teaching. I do all teaching, honestly, right now online. I don't do anything in person. Definitely not Kim Jong-un. I cannot paint you a picture of Kim Jong-un doing all that thing. However, if you use any AI tool, you'll get it. You'll get it done to look perfectly. I recommend, what is it called? Leonardo AI? That's a good one. Golden Pigeon. Sometimes if I paint hair of maybe, take black blonde. So if I paint black blonde hair, it is not only black, there's little browns, oranges, yellows. So sometimes they mix. Okay, we got to find part 2. Play the hide and seek. The black where they shouldn't, where they should not. Sometimes they should, but sometimes. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, actually. So funny. I immediately understand. In my painting, The Boss, actually, let me, it's okay, we'll take it slow. Let me show you a case where it happens in a recent painting of mine. Let's see here, painting project, The Boss. Is it social media the one I need? I think that's the final. Yep. Here you go. So this painting right here, if you look at the boss on the right, that's exactly it, right? It's blonde, but there are brown and black areas. It's one of those things, again, you have to get a feel for. The more you do it and you learn what the paints will do one next to another and how to have them not bleed too much into one another, the easier this is going to get. Trust me. What I would do is, that video I referred to earlier, put a shape of paint, mix another one, put it next to it, see what happens. Put another next to it, see what happens. When I paint, I'm always aware of the wetness levels there, so it's more about perception and making sure you perceive as much as possible. That's the way I see it. I hope that makes sense. But I had this experience many times before, painting, you know, blonde people, generally speaking, or like mine, I don't know what you'd call that. I know what it's called in Hebrew, shateni, but who knows what is it? Chestnut. I don't know what color that is. It's not black, it's not brown, it's something somewhere in the middle. The tips of my hairs are actually almost blonde, but yeah, there's always a mix. There's always going to be a mix. It's a learning process, developing that ability. Carrie, working on another portrait, but I'm impatient and want it to be done. Learning to be patient and paint more layers. It's of a Renaissance woman. Oh, cool. By the way, Carrie, I have a great thing that, you know, I don't think I talked about it enough. You know, there was a painting that I thought I'd make a video on. So I filmed the process, and it was going okay. And then after 2 washes, I'm like, it's done. I hate it. I hate the result. Even though I really liked the reference photo, I didn't like the painting. Now, it's not because I made mistakes or the painting was bad. I just didn't like the painting. So I quit. And then I did another one. And I was 50% through and I hated it. I quit. I don't know why some scenes just don't develop into a beautiful painting based on my taste, so I just quit. So on one hand, yes, you want to be patient. Sometimes, however, if you think you just don't like it, not that you're disappointed or you wanted it to be better, but if you just purely just don't like the result and you're certain of it, you can just stop. You know, you don't have to continue. Or you can take a break and continue later on, re-examine your connection to the photo and or the subject and the painting. But sometimes it just, you know, because I find that sometimes if I lose patience, quote unquote, it's just that I hate the result. And it can happen. Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. Hillel Shmuel asks, in English then in Hebrew, hey, good afternoon, Liron. Wanted to ask, what kind of opaque paint do you recommend for highlights? So I would go with John Brilliant. It's PWC Shinhan. You can actually find it locally. I bought this one from a store in Tel Aviv. And then I really like the Winsor Newton's, what do you call it? Designer's gouache. These two are great, and I mix them with other colors to create opaque highlights. מקווה שהבנת, זה היה ברור הלל. אז אמרתי שהצבע הראשון זה הג'ון בריליאנט, קניתי את זה במאי ארט, שהם היו בדיזינגוף סנטר, ואת זה ג'ון שלח לי, ג'ון sent it to me, this one, designer's gouache, פשוט גouache, אפשר למצוא את זה לדעתי בכל חנות, זה לא בעיה. So yeah, I hope that helps. Carrie, do you ever use hot press? Yes, I have recently. Prakara answered that. Yes, I do teach online. What do you think? I mean, not barely one-on-one. I just don't really have the time for that, so it's a very select thing. What do you think about watercolor alla prima painting? I love it. That's the thing I showed you here. That's pretty much alla prima. One go, no layers, no nothing, just one go. I love it. When it's done skillfully and with the heart, it looks so good. So good. I love it. Mark, my local art store recommended me a small set of gouache primary paints. Interesting. Which I haven't tried yet. They're sitting there tempting me. But my love of watercolor is holding me back. You know, you can use gouache almost like watercolor, funny enough. So yeah. I would love to try something like that. Hey Marjorie, good to see you here too. Thank you so much. Gazala, I am a beginner and love abstract painting. Could you please suggest some video on color contrasting? Do you conduct training or classes. I really want to join your art community. Yeah, thank you so much. I actually don't have I don't have much of a body of content as it relates to color theory. I do discuss a bit of it. One thing you can do is use Photoshop or any like photo editing software to look at the swatches. By the way, you can also, so there's this great website, I'll send it to you, Adobe Color Swatches, something like that. They have a color wheel, Adobe's website, and you can choose what kind of harmonies you want and a bunch of stuff. That's a great tool. And then you can try mixing those on your own and seeing what happens. So, sorry, I know it's a bit of a late answer, but for Ghazala, that's a very useful thing to try. So I hope that helps. But more than anything, I would say it's that taste. It's developing the taste to find out what you like and the way you like to do that. So yeah. Oh, that's a shame that art is a crime. Sorry, definitely not Kim Jong-un. Gotta love Depeche Mode. Hi, Liron. Depeche Mode are good. Hi, Liron. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Yes, I am. Hope you're doing well too. Sujanith, posterior cruciate ligament. That could be it, though I don't think it's the one. Actually, let's see here. I'll tell you which one it is. Maybe you're correct, though. Let's see here. It's the MPFL. Medial patellofemoral ligament. That's the one. That's the problematic one, which makes sense. It's medial because it's towards the center of the body. So yeah, it's not a posterior. Carrie, oh no, I'm so sorry. I do physical therapy every day with my patients in their home. It can heal your... eat right and exercise. Yeah, definitely. I'm making sure to do it every day religiously. So yeah, thank you. Prakar, it's how you learn art. Experiment, find the thing you like to create. You know, it's so personal, such a personal thing. So Carrie, patience, not patience. Yeah. I read it correctly the first time, even though you said patience. But it's good that you do it with patience too. Yeah, my therapist was happy with my progress today. He said that I'm making good progress, which makes sense. I mean, I was in pretty good shape before, and there are worse injuries. Even though that's considered a pretty serious injury in that sport, at least. So Janith, it's a very safe surgery. It's very common. Yeah, my orthopedist. Sorry, I'm so delayed with the chat. My apologies. It's that's what my orthopedist said. He said it's a very simple surgery, and you know, if he may recommend it, why not make sure that the likelihood of dislocating again goes down significantly, because otherwise it will add much more complexity to it. Probably said it's one of those things that makes you not be able to do sports after 50 or something silly like that if I dislocate it more seriously or again. So I'll consider it, yeah, for sure. Gotta love Depeche Mode. Did you ever do training vlogs? I would be down to watch them. Yeah, I only did a couple of Instagram stories from workout sessions. We had a great trainer when we lived in Tel Aviv. She was great. She would always post stories and then I would share them. But yeah, no, never like an actual blog. I don't know, maybe in the future. Maybe I'll document some of my healing. Yep. Carrie, yes, jiu-jitsu is fantastic. It is definitely not Kim Jong-un. A doctor told me I did a surgery once because I was too heavy. Oh man, terrible. That is terrible. Mark, regarding it, am I too lax with? I don't usually remove comments. Just try to keep it civil, everyone. I won't remove your comment. I'm not too big on adminning and monitoring. I'm bad at it. But if someone bugs you in the chat, just let me know. Then I can block them. Mark, regarding injuries, they just need to be managed carefully. Yeah, the human body has amazing powers of recovery, but you have to give it a chance to do its job. Surgery is best avoided if at all possible. Yeah. One of the therapists where I went, she told me she would not recommend surgery if possible. The thing is, you know, what's preventing it from happening again? That's my main concern and question. What prevents it from happening again? See, that's the thing that worries me. Because if I don't have a guarantee that at least the chances of it happening, or except, of course, I'll be more, you know, more focused on that and making sure that I do the movements correctly. But, you know, beyond that, some things are out of control. Janzart, yes, it is the MPFL. Medial patellofemoral ligament. The injury creates a chronic condition. I hope you're able to stabilize better. Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna have to do some reading. He said that's the thing he would be concerned about. He didn't base it off of anything. So I can't tell you much, you know. I have a strong belief that is based on absolutely nothing, that I can at least go back to the where I was. But yeah, I mean, I'll always be at increased risk, so we'll see. Edze, I really like your use of muted colors. Thank you. Yeah, you know, that wasn't really even a conscious choice. I just enjoy them so much. That's where I find the beauty many times, and I find that the clean colors really glow when there's a lot of muted colors next to them. That's how I enjoy doing it. Joshua, have you heard of the tea, milk, and honey method for watercolor painting? Yes. The following passes of milk and honey cover the underlying tone, building strength and solidity in the shadows. Yep, I'm familiar with it, like Joseph Zbukvich, the watercolor clock, and a bunch of other artists that talk about it. It's too scientific-y for me. I'd much rather know, like, more of a... what do you call it? Like a dimmer, almost, instead of levels. Instead of having 4 levels, I'm thinking of things in terms of a dimmer. Like, what's a 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, or even smaller increments if I can. Because intuition is very nuanced, you know. Intuition based on making it intuitive, right? So I practiced enough to make it intuitive, and now I can perceive like a volume knob every different level of wetness and flow. That's, to me, ideal. Marjorie just joined the chat. Coffee painting. Yep, indeed. I'll show it next Tuesday. Diego, hey Liron, greetings from Brazil. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. Karina, greetings from Sweden. That's so cool. We have people here from everywhere. We even have not Kim Jong-un. Can you paint me a picture of your country? That's such a good troll, I have to say. Sujani Liron, what is your opinion on wet and wet technique of Luis de Masi? I think I'm familiar with that artist. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm familiar. You know, it's not my style. It's not the look that I enjoy. It's too illustrative for me. When it comes to watercolor, I mean, illustrations can be beautiful, and those are top-notch. Man, there's one in particular. Oh, my God, it's so good. It's a bird. Yeah, I mean, they're great. It's very skillfully done. It's not my style of choice, but... her skill is top-notch, for sure. When I say it's not my style of choice, I mean to paint, right? I really love the way it looks. It's just not my preferred way of painting. But it's very nuanced. I mean, it's much better control than I have for this, for sure. For wet and wet or flow, so yeah, it's great. Prakara, I'm gonna leave this live stream because he's not answering my question. I answered him a couple of times. Marjorie, did you show a painting during this live stream? Yeah, just this one. And so this is gonna be Tuesday's tutorial, and then also this one right here that I'm working on. I just got started before this stream. That's one I have a big plan for that. Took a picture in our previous apartment, and it's been on my phone for, again, more than a year, probably 2 years, and I'm like, now I really feel like painting it. Now is the time. I was waiting for this moment. That's usually how it happens. I'll have a photo for a long time, and then at some point I'll decide, okay, it is time to paint it. The time has come. Let me arrange this for a second here. Oh. Better. Megan, hello, Liron. I'm so glad I made it to the live stream. Thank you so much. I'm on the bus. Oh, right now. That's cool. That's cool. I don't think I ever got the chance to be on a live stream on a bus ride, but that's fun. And you can type, so that's cool. Mark, yeah, sorry about that. I'm just answering everyone. Carrie, did I lose connection or did you? Darn, I wanted to hear your answer. Oh, wait. So yeah, I don't know. Physical therapy and all of that. Yeah, I just said that I'm putting a lot of work into it, and I believe it can return to where it was. My physiotherapist said I'm making good progress. That was mainly the thing I said. I'm doing all the exercises every day, multiple times. The area around my knee hurts, but it actually hurts from the leg brace because it was too squeezed it too much. I'll probably get a new one that's a little more loose and meant for exercises. Cheetown17, new subscriber, love the program. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Jacqueline, you've made it big on YouTube when creepy people are in the chat. I reported one of them. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't mind trolling. I find it funny. But if someone bugs you, that if you're harassing someone else, then I'll block you immediately. But yeah, that's my line. You can troll me, just don't troll anyone else. Let's see. Let's continue here. No, Prakar, you can explain again. I don't know what I misunderstood, but let me know. Original I don't know how to pronounce it. Liron, your enthusiasm for watercolor is so contagious. Every time I think I want to switch to another medium, you bring me back. Yeah, but I mean, don't let me stop you from trying it out. I mean, if you want to try something else. But yeah, that's cool. Happy to hear. Carrie, do you use hot press paper ever? Oh, that's that question maybe, because you asked it before, I think. I love it because it allows me to finish quicker, but I hate it for scrubbing and lifting. This is where I'm going to differ from you. So I do use hot press. Not a lot. Hot press is harder to control. I find I need more water, generally speaking, because it's very easy to get uneven drying, a big mess, and cauliflowers. Undesired cauliflowers, some can be good. But actually, for scrubbing and lifting and fixing mistakes after it's dry, I find this works really well in hot press. In fact, better than cold press. It's much easier to smoothen out edges, to smoothen out mistakes. I don't know, that's what I find at least. It will depend on a bunch of other factors like the colors you're using, all of that. But I don't know, I find that it works really well for me for lifting and editing once dry. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Well, let's see here. Oops, the chat jumped on me. That's going to be a nightmare. Good morning from Puerto Rico, waiting for my cup of coffee. Jose de Bachata and Salsa guy. Again, learning watercolor from you. That's cool. I don't know how that message got scrambled like that, but yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Jose. Branson says, what do you call a great big pile of cats? Meowed. Oh, man. Marjorie, I would like to see your coffee cup. Still Alice. Gina, I got 3 sets of Mission Gold Pure Pigments when they were a good value. Oh, nice. Still life. Sujanith. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's see here. Marjorie, I'm late today, so I will have to catch up later. How's it going? Going great. Going good. Thank you so much. Mostly resting my leg and doing physiotherapy. My name, Liron. How do you look for reference photos? I could spend more time finding reference photos than painting. You know, the thing that photos that paint always show good contrast and light. Yeah, the thing is, at some point, I found myself really bored by photos that other people took. And as I'm selling more of my paintings, I just want to make it my own instead of relying on other people's work. I don't know why the fan stopped working. It became so hot here for a second, and then it just stopped. But in any case, I would say take your own photos. That's the best solution I found, because now pretty much everything I paint for the purpose of, creating a beautiful painting, not teaching or, of course I I want the things I teach to be beautiful, but that's more for the technique side of things. I always take my own photos. And I always take photos of things that I find interesting so that I always have a backlog to go back to. I can look at photos from years ago, find something I like and paint that. That's how I find references. It's sometimes very hard to feel compelled, and it shouldn't be hard. That's the thing. If you're struggling to want to paint something, something's off. The thing almost will captivate me to paint it. So that's what I would say. If you can take your own photos, that's a huge, huge step. Mark, I have to go soon. I'll check the recorded video later. Thank you so much for being here, Mark. Enjoy the chat, everyone. Liron gives so much of the time for free, which is much, much appreciated. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I mean, thank you for being here. I always appreciate the fact that people tune in and listen. What I have to say is actually of interest to someone that will never be taken for granted. Thank you so much. In my opinion, single pigment paints only Buzzo. Single pigment paints only really benefit you if you switch between brands a lot, as it's easier to know what to expect out of a new paint if it's a pigment you know. Other than that, doesn't matter. That's a great point, actually. Yeah, I haven't thought of that. It just gives you that certainty. Quinacridone Rose PV19 is the same for every brand almost. Yeah, that's a great point. It's funny because there can be obviously differences between brands. I often find it out using the same pigment, but something looks a little different. And I look at the pigment and I'm like, it's the same pigment. Why does it look different? Because there's other factors involved. But yeah, for the most part, that's a great point, actually. My name, the photos that are... Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Let's see here. I forgot to ask if you're a fan of plein air. Original says, yes, I am. I love doing it. I don't do it almost at all, but I love it and I really enjoy when I do it. And I'm a big fan of paintings that were done plein air by other artists. I find they have a certain charm to them. Almost like taking your own photos, you know, it's just your own reference. It's your own thing. It's so personal. It looks always interesting. There is something that goes beyond technique. I have seen so far so many paintings that the technique could be better, but the soul and heart are so strong that the impression is there. It's really good, you know. Sometimes that can carry a painting, even if you're not so proficient technically. Cooper Moore, hi Liron. I live in North Carolina in the US. I'm new to watercolor and I've learned so much from your videos. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much for watching them. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's great that, you know, the thing I love about it is I can film a video today and in a year or two someone will watch it. Like, the value keeps being there. So that keeps me very excited. Every video that I make is added to a huge pile of... How many videos do I have now? Let's check. 1.2K. You can't even say the specific number anymore. So it's 1,200 something. That will probably be watched for years, hopefully decades. I don't know. Maybe YouTube won't exist at some point in the future. But yeah, definitely, I'm so happy about it and so grateful. So thank you, Cooper Moore. Much appreciated. Prakar, let's see if you have another question. No, my mom just called me and I don't listen to. Okay. If you have another question, ask. I'm here. Golden Pigeon, thank you for answering my questions. These are all the questions for today. Bye-bye. Good. I love it. Like, these are the questions. So, see you later. Henny, hello all. Just joined. Was in the middle of work. Hope I haven't missed too much. Yeah, not too much. Thank you so much for being here. Lud, I'm from Poland. Warm greetings. I'm 55 plus years old and started to draw and paint 1 year ago. It's not too late. No, never. It's never too late. So I think there's like this inspirational thing going on online that if you think you started late, and then it shows how tons of great art masters, painting masters have started late. Honestly, who cares? It doesn't matter. You can paint when you're 90. If you're 55 years plus, in theory, you have, I don't know, a couple of good decades to paint. Who cares? You know, it's not... I find time to be irrelevant. Because painting just puts me immediately in the moment. So it doesn't matter, you know... When you're really in the moment, doesn't matter what's going to happen in 30 minutes even. So I love it. It's great. By the way, my last name... another person from the physiotherapy what do you call it? Like, I don't know, Jim. I don't know what you'd call that. He said, you know, Yanconsky is a Polish name. I told him, yeah, I'm Romanian. But yeah, he said, no, always when it's Yanconsky, when it ends in ski, it's always a Polish origin. I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe. I mean, I'm Romanian, but and I know this name dates way back, so I'm not sure. In Romania, so I'm not sure. I know it could be, I guess, both. Mark went, Prakar. I think he left. He had to go. Henny, Liron, have you tried acrylics? Assuming you have at least dabbled, any tips on cleaning brushes? I find any medium bar watercolor cleanup is always more complicated. Yeah, the only real important thing is I have tried a few acrylics. I have one here somewhere. I have a few of them around the house too, hung up on the walls. The thing is, as soon as you finish or if you take a long break, just put them in a cup with clean water. That's the thing that will help them. Now, the brush will never be it will never look fully clean, but honestly, most of my watercolor brushes get tinted after I paint once or twice, and that's it. They're going to look tinted forever, even though they're clean. So that's the most important thing, I think. Just place it in a cup of water. I use just a plastic cup to make sure it doesn't dry. And then wash it after you're done. Just scrub it a little. Other than that, you're good. But yeah, that's what I find. It's not that terrible of a cleanup. It does take long. Like, you rinse it under the faucet and it just never ends. There's always more paint coming out of the brush. But after a few minutes, it's done. It's done. So yeah. Carrie, thank you. Unfortunately, I have to take a break because I do physical therapy with patients all day. Yeah, no, good job. That's a great job to have, and you're helping people out. So definitely, we'll maybe see you later, or you'll watch the end afterwards. Golden Pigeon, I wanted to stay here for longer, but I have to go somewhere, so bye and sorry. Yeah, no worries. That's the beauty with live stream. Feel free to dip in and out as much as you want. Marjorie, Mission Gold mini palettes sent was single pigment. Yes, I assumed. And thank you so much for that, because that's something I'm really looking forward to using. So yeah. I'm keeping the best for last. Amy, currently working on my own eggs. Have done rough sketch, then detailed sketch with graphite, another today with paint. Oh, that's cool. That's a great, like, studying it meticulously. That's really cool. Eggs are hard, kind of mad. Yeah, the thing is, they have so many different edges to them. Now, you can decide to ignore edges. You can just decide no hard edges whatsoever. But yeah, it has a nuance to it, depending on the light and shadow, depending on how strong the light source is, how distant it is from the subject, the egg carton in this example, or a single egg. Yeah, it can be a challenge. And I would say, you know, painting this full egg carton, you could just paint like 2 and see what happens, or just 1 or 2. You don't have to paint the whole thing. And that will allow you to practice more on the nuances. Prakar, are you an animal therapist? That's super cool. That's a really cool job. Hopefully you see this, because you said good night to everyone. But I don't know, maybe you'll watch it afterwards. I hope to see you at another live stream if you're left. But yeah, that's really cool, because I've seen a bunch of videos on Instagram of people doing therapy with animals. That's really neat. 024 Crosby, good day, gent. Good day to you. Good day to you too, sir. With a monocle. Tuta Art, when I use Winsor and Newton, it's wiped out when I make the next layer. Can you recommend any watercolor that doesn't reactivate quickly? I like to paint in layers. I'm not sure if it's the paper. Yeah, exactly what Megan says. You're using Arch. Yeah, you're probably... Megan probably ended up helping you before me, so let's read on. And good night, Prakar, once again. Sujanith, good night to you too, I assume. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good question. Because I don't use much of Winsor Newton. I don't have that problem with Daniel Smith. I don't have a problem with Schminke even. I don't have that problem with SAA. I don't have that problem with White Knights, with Rosa Gallery, with M. Graham even. It could be your technique too. It could be maybe you're using a lot of water in the following wash, just clean water. Or maybe you're not waiting long enough. Those would be my guesses. Maybe one of them pushes you in the right direction. I know it's not the best, most detailed answer. My apologies, but that sounds about like most of the reasons that would happen. Let's see. Jacqueline, I love how you spend time answering questions. It may be a while to get to each of us, but it's great. Oh, you totally focus on each question, comment. Yeah, thank you so much. You know, I guess if there was, I don't know, hundreds of people here and the chat would run so fast, I'd have to stick to the bottom. Let me know if that's something you want me to try for a while, because then it can be like a faster dialogue thing. But yeah. Anna, do you approve of Fabriano Watercolor's sketchbook? It's a paper I have at the moment. Fabriano is decent. They have quite a few good ones. Honestly, even the Watercolor XL sketchbook is pretty good. And that's lesser quality from my personal experience compared to Fabriano. So you should be good. You should be good. Maybe, you know, lots of glazes. Maybe it will reawaken. You have to test it out. It would work better maybe in that case for a more alla prima approach. To me, that's not a limitation. That's an invitation to try it out. But definitely, there are far worse options. So I think you're good. Sierra Blue, I really appreciate that you have created this opportunity for us to come together and discuss art. This has become something I look forward to every week. That's super cool. Yeah, you know, it's so time-consuming, honestly, to reply to all comments and messages. It's just so difficult, and I wish I could do that, hire someone to do that, but I don't want someone else to answer my messages. So, yeah, that's a great opportunity. It's fast. I can talk to you, you know, answer a bunch of questions. It's a bit selfish in a way because, you know, I have so many messages and emails and stuff I just never responded to because there's no way I can find all the time. And I answer a lot. But yeah, that's my selfish way of making it possible. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for conforming to my method of doing it. Gina, I paint from styles I've learned. I try painting from pictures and it's not as fun for me. Okay, yeah, that's great. You know, personal preferences, sometimes painting from an edited style or someone else's interpretation can work better, for sure. One thing you can do, and I started doing lately, so I've been always editing photos just to make them easier to paint. But one thing I started doing recently is to edit them to make them look more like the thing I want them to look like. So it's a bit of a different reason for doing it. And so I'll increase the saturation. Sometimes I'll reduce the contrasts even to make it less of a contrast, more of a flat, thin wash kind of invitation to do that. So maybe that's something that could work for you. If you have a picture you maybe want to paint, but you have better experience when it's edited already, you can play around with it and change it to look like something that will inspire you more to paint. But to me, I find there's a world of difference between photos online and photos I took. It's a huge difference. Yeah, thank you so much, Jacqueline. That's really kind of you. Yeah, I love it that like the audience is from everywhere. You know, that's the biggest compliment. Honestly, when I look at my YouTube analytics, everything is completely divided. There is no like 90% male, 10% female. Like it's 50-50 for everything. It's all age groups, tons of countries. Yeah, that's a huge compliment for me here. So thank you. Let's see. And thank you, Monica NJ, for being here. Cooper Moore, have you ever painted with lunar black? No, I haven't tried it out. A lot of people like it. So yeah, I'm so bad with these specific specialty colors. But yeah. Henny, I love the fact that our paintings are almost like putting a filter on an actual scene. Our own filter, exactly. It's that. It's almost like a filter almost, you know, I used to think like that more, a filter, but the filter is very consistent. To me, it's more, or maybe I add more layers to the filter that is like what I feel like doing, all of these weird kind of filters that aren't always even visual, funny enough, you know? So yeah, but it's a great way of looking at it. Hey, Laura, hope you're doing well. Joshua, is it better to have good quality brushes or good quality watercolor paper? Yes, meaning both. But yeah, I think paper. Paper comes to me first, then paint, and then brushes. The paper and paint is what's left once you're done painting. So in a way, that's the physical thing that makes up the painting, right? Whereas the brush, it will be harder to use, but it is possible to paint with bad brushes. I've done that before. Shelly Proud Fine Art, how are you, Shelly? Hey, Liron and Painters from Toronto, Canada. I agree with working from your own reference whenever possible. Spirit recovery with your leg. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. Oh, Tembo Art. Yeah, Tembo Artwork. DS Lunar Black is one of my favorites. That's really, really cool. Jacqueline, I'm going to be meeting friends at a coffee shop soon. We will be painting with our watercolors. Oh, that's really fun. I'll have to try painting a coffee. Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yep, Aaron seems to agree about paper over brushes. Yeah, there is a consensus here. You know, different people will vary. Sometimes some people will maybe benefit from a good brush before a good paper. My personal experience, the only thing I can speak of is the other way around. Marjorie, as far as pigment numbers being the same across manufacturers, not always. For instance, Potter's Pink PR233 is something very dusty brown or very pink comparatively as in Windsor. And Marjorie, is that the same pigment? So it's actually the same PR233 and it will look different? That's shocking to me always. And I've experienced this many times before. Interesting. Hey Ramesh, how are you doing? You got it. And I think that's the reply to me. I'm not sure, but you got it if I was able to help. Marjorie, one of the rules with oil paints is thick paint over thin. Yeah, that's something I have heard to prevent cracking when layering. Or there are rules for layering glazing with water. Are there rules for layering glazing with watercolor? I don't think in the same way, because the physical, I guess, attributes aren't as important. It's not a thick layer of paint, so I wouldn't think so. But maybe there's something I don't know and I'm not aware of, you know. Gina, I'm so used to using Kansun XL, I get it in 6-packs. I have new cotton paper and see no difference. I know every YouTube artist swears by Arsh. Yeah, I like Saunders Waterford better than Arsh, but Gina, if that works for you, that's perfect. Again, I think the Kansun XL is pretty good. I've used it for both sketches and watercolors. It's pretty good. Aaron, hey Liron, I've been planning on buying some Escoda travel brushes. I wanted to get a Reserva, but there's no large sizes locally available. For now, I have Versatile number 12 and Pearl number 6 in mind. Thoughts? Yeah, I think they're good. Versatile is good. Pearl is good. I actually like the Barocco. The one you see me painting all the time with is the Barocco. This one, it's a size 16. So regarding size, you also may want a larger size depending on the size you paint. My paintings are usually the equivalent of an A4 or A3. If you work the same size, you may end up needing a larger one. So just be aware of that. But if you paint, let's say A4 and under, A4 is kind of in the middle. So you should be good with a size 12. I love the Versatile too. I love the Versatile, the Barocco, Perla as well. Over the long run, I ended up using more of my Barocco and my Versatile, more than the others. Which one is that? That's an Ultimo. Ultimo not so much, just for larger areas. So yeah, I think you honestly, it's good. The Perlas work better in small sizes, but I ended up. Is this a Perla? Oh yeah, I'm actually still using a Perla size 10. So yeah. Perla, size 10. You should be good with these. You should be good. I would look into the Barocco one too, because I like it a lot. Marjorie, I found it even with 30 or more colors on a palette, I still tweak almost every convinced color. So what do you mean by tweak? Do you mean you end up using all of them or few of them? Or none of that? None of that. Let me know. Dhruv Origin, your videos have made me confident with colors. Thank you. Love from India. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, one of the things that I hope to achieve with the videos is just to give that little motivation to try something out, you know. At the end of the day, again, techniques and how-tos, they're all very limited. I think a lot of it needs to be experienced. Everyone need to experience it on their own in order to truly make something personal. And art is very personal, I think. But the aspect of you seeing someone doing it and thinking, oh, I really want to try that out, that's a great thing for me to hear that the videos do so. Thank you for watching. Yes, same pigment color. Ramesh, how to choose paper grams for different kinds of art? Which kind of art needs? Yeah, so to me, I just used 300 GSM. Is it 300 or 140? I don't remember. The one that's most common. I think it's 300 grams. Yeah, so it's 300. 600 is fun. It won't buckle as much, but not really necessary. If you want to work huge sizes and you want to have a bit more control over it, yes. For the vast majority of people, 300 grams is a good starting point. I wouldn't go below that if you can, but you don't have to go above it too. Joshua, I love art shopping, but it is always so expensive. Yep. I'm so lucky in that regard and grateful because people send me so many art supplies and I just end up using what I have. So I barely find the need to purchase anything in particular. I purchase once in a while, a specialty thing that I need, but for the most part, you know, even the Escoda brushes, they send them to me. They were super kind. And I've just been using them. I have, you know, oh, hello. A guest. We have a guest. We have a guest on the stream. Shalom. Hate it? I hate it, human. Release me. Release me this instant. Ruthie came to visit. I see it now in the replay. She's so adorable. Yeah, I forgot my point. Let's see what I was talking about. I lost it. Yeah. So anyway, super grateful. I have everything I need. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, Michael Soloviev sent me this one, which is a really, really cool brush. I've been using it quite a bit for large areas. So yeah, I'm super grateful for that. John, cannot thank you enough. I'm still using the paper you sent me every day. I every day or 2 days, I get another half a sheet, rip it, divide it in parts, paint one, do some filming. So yeah, super grateful for that. I will probably need to purchase more at some point, but man, you all set me up. Thank you so much for that. It's amazing. Buzzo. Pigment classification is kind of stupid. Some pigments have different shades within one pigment code. PV19 is notorious for that. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Or one shade with many codes. Yeah, for phthalo blue you have that too. Yeah, I remember. Interesting. Because I have a quinacridone rose here that is not a quinacridone. I hate it. I don't know what it is. It's a quinacridone rose. It's PV19. Looks like crap. Looks like, SH... what do you call that symbol and T at the end? Yeah, so I don't know why it's so dull and boring, so very unpredictable. Reds in general I find are more unpredictable. Tuta Art, thank you so much. You're a great teacher. Thank you. I learned a lot from your channel, and I'm sorry for my bad. Oh man, don't apologize for bad English because you are it's very easy to understand, and my English is sometimes terrible too. No worries. Aaron, I tend to paint smaller than A for your set. Yeah, that's a great direction to go to. And I don't remember if you said you just want the plein air brushes. Just know that some of them do have issues where this thing wobbles a bit. So if you don't have to have them collapsible, like actually you don't have to have them do this, I would probably not get a plein air one, but get a normal one. My suggestion to you. Same model, just not a collapsible one. They're great. Most of them are good, but one or two started being wobbly. I didn't like it as much. I can probably fix it very easily with a plier. But just, I would just get the normal ones. Honestly, they're fantastic. I have a few regular ones. But yeah, that's great for the size you're going to work. Buzzo, but the variance is either known in advance, example PV19 will never be green, or is small enough, just depending on production conditions. Okay. That's a good point. Let's see some Ruth reactions. Oh, Mark, thank you so much. You're a legend. Love your channel. Thank you so much. Aaron, Ruth. Have you done a painting of your dog? Joshua asks. Yes, a few actually. Joey also commented on that. Okay, let's continue. Let us continue. Laura, my new favorite paper is New York Central. Feels similar to Baohong. I have never heard of that one. Let's see here. New York Central. I mean, New York Central is it's a nice train station. Is it a train station, right? New York Central paper. I mean, New York is great, generally speaking. I will look into that. I have a Google search now. So instead of having 20-something tabs, I now have 20-something plus one tabs open. I'm terrible. You know how many tabs I have on my iPhone on the Safari? I have about 50 something open tabs, and that's after I spent 10 minutes closing about 100. I always have way too many tabs open on my browsers. I bet a lot of you are like that too. I know you are. Laura, I'll definitely take a look. New York Central, never heard of it. Interesting. And Baohong is great, so if it's similar to that, I'm all for it. Tambo, I read that some same pigments can look different depending on where it is sourced from and how it's processed. Brands may get their pigment from different distributors. Interesting. Yeah, so it's not a clear-cut thing. Aaron Lycan, yeah, Dr. Otokano, yeah, that's a great resource. So if you see it there, interesting. Marjorie tweeting, adding another color to change. Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like no matter, I get it now, Marjorie. Yeah, sorry, I should have understood the first time. Like no matter how many variations of color you're gonna have, you'll always end up with a mix, a nuanced mix. Yeah, I get it. Actually, so in my Paul Rubens palette, the pink palette you see in many videos, in that particular palette, because there's 3 reds, 3 blues, 3 yellows, to me it's enough. It was even more than that. It was like 5 reds, 5 blues, 5 yellows. To me, I didn't have to use as many, nuanced increments there. But always, I have such a messy palette. There's always some percentage of something there. So yeah. Jacqueline, have you tried My Merry Blue? I got 5 colors and maybe I'm just needing to practice more, but I still prefer my cheap pan paints. I have 1 tube of My Merry Blue, if I'm not mistaken, that I purchased in Italy. I was okay with it. I liked it. I felt like it may be a little too student grade for me. So I was a bit hesitant to paint. I think it's Quinacridone Rose. It was. So I was a little hesitant to paint like a finished piece with it, but I did a few experiments with it. I think I have a Paint Show episode with that. I might. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. Maybe I don't know what brand the cheap pen paints are. But even if it's like, what do you call that one? Delorani? Maybe it's better than My Merry Blue. I'm not sure. Joshua, I love your dog. Yeah, Jacqueline. Yeah, she's cute. She's adorable. Dipanuita, Paul, gosh, I'll read the full names. I love your brushes. What is the pointed brush that you use? Yeah, that one would be an Escoda Barocco. The green one, in the plein air, it's green. Not sure what color it is, not plein air. Barocco, size 16, that's my most perfect one. The tip isn't perfect, honestly. If you look at it, it has a bit of a bend in it. I don't know if you can see it. But it's more than good enough, actually. That would be one of my most used brushes. You can see it in almost every video. Joey. Ruth, she's the best guest, but she hates being here. Plus, she came here before her walk. That's not a good move. She needs to come here after the walk. Oh yeah, Joshua, by the way, I have done 2 paintings of Ruth. I should have them online, on Instagram, both. They're here somewhere in a pile of paintings. They turned out nice. I think they turned out nice. Problem is, I'm really familiar with her face, so I see all the inaccuracies as if it was a human face that I painted. Gazala, good night to you, and thank you so much for being here. Love from... So it shows as JP. I don't know if that's a flag emoji that got lost in translation or if it's Japan. I don't know, but thank you for being here. Gina, when I first got Amazon Prime, I went nuts and got way more paints and brushes than I can use, but I love art supplies. The more color in my life, the better. Yeah, Amazon Prime is crazy, right? And the next day delivery thing is insane. We don't have it here, but I would probably order a bunch of stuff if I had it. Thank you, Ramesh. Bazo, I fell very deep into pigments rabbit hole list. Yeah, you sound like you're very knowledgeable. Bazo. Mark, thank you so much. You're a legend. Love your channel. Gina, I love to cut my 9 on 12s into 8 on 10s and 5 7s. Easy to find frames in these sizes. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Some sizes are just simpler for pre-purchased frames. Sometimes I'll just fill in the extra area with a frame I make custom, like matting from paper. But yeah, if you know, especially for commissions, if you know the dimensions they want, just make it for the frame. Get a simple frame that looks great, and yeah, you're good. Marjorie, if you pinch the cap on a travel brush just a little, it often stops wobbling, but can still be used as travel brush. Yep, I tried it. Aaron, I paint a lot outside, so travel brushes are more convenient. Plus, I've been trying to pack smaller. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm so scared to close them because then I feel like some of the sables will be stuck outside and we'll get like this. Oh, Laura, you had the same issue. Yeah, that sucks. It's not that bad though, Aaron. So you can just get them. It's fine. They're great. I'm still using them. The one caveat I would say, ergonomically, they're not the best because they're metal, very even in their shape, which is most brushes. But the grip isn't too small, which is good. But you will develop calluses for the most part. So you want to maybe alternate between something more natural, organic bamboo and those kind of metal brushes, because I have a bunch of, the Levinson brushes and the one by Michael Soloviev. They're more organic feeling. And then I have some of these kinds of brushes that are also feel a little different. So you get some variety. You don't kill your hands, basically. So yeah. Emmy, New York Central is Jerry's Artorama's house brand. Okay, I had no idea. That's cool. Pretty sure Jerry's just bought the brand from whoever. Love, Bahong. Oh, cool. Yeah, Jerry's Artorama is great. I've seen some of their YouTube videos. They're really on top of it, so that's good. Mark, what watercolors are your favorite brand? I've just moved to Michael Harding, even more vivid than Daniel Smith. I've heard of Michael Harding, never tried them. Let me Google search that. Watercolors. Interesting. I will look into those. I never even seen them, I think. I might have seen a tube here and there, now that I look at it, maybe. Yeah, that's cool. I would say, after all of these paintings and experimentation, it's so hard to decide on one brand. I will say, I can't not mention Daniel Smith. Even though I contacted them like a bazillion times, I wanted to do some kind of a collaboration or be an ambassador. It never led anywhere. And honestly, I don't even know if it's worth it to be an ambassador. If they limit my options of what I can use, contractually. I have to mention Daniel Smith because it's the ones it's like very predictable. It's the go-to. I know what I'm getting. I know it's going to look good. I know it's going to be high quality. Now, in addition to Daniel Smith, SAA are superb. Pretty much the same quality as good. But the one brand that keeps giving me so much good vibe and great time is M. Graham. M. Grahams are so fun to use. I guess I just like paints that are easily rewettable and that awaken easily and they're soft. M. Grahams are fantastic. They feel premium. They feel like they're better quality than other brands. Even just the tube design. I don't know what it is about it. If you know anyone who works there, you want to hook me up with a collaboration, I would be happy to. M. Grahams are wonderful. I love them. Now, I will add another favorite is Shinhan PWC. When I look at videos by Misselbu, insanely skilled Korean painter. You've seen their videos. You've seen them online. It's Shinhan and a bunch of other cheap brands. So Shinhan PWC are excellent. I have like 3 tubes. And I'm never disappointed. I need to get more of these. They're priced similarly to Daniel Smith here locally, from what I've seen. Maybe I'll order a set online. I don't know. I love Shinhan PWC. Shinhan PWC. I would also say, there's so many good brands. It's so hard to hone in on one or two. I'm just speaking of what are the ones I use the longest and kind of I'm most used to. So yeah, it has to be these. Shelly, the travel brush wobble annoyed me too, but I love the brushes. I put a little piece of scotch tape on the insert male end to tighten the connection. No more wobble. And I would add to that, once they have some paint that dries on them, it stops the wobbling too. It just stops it. The water paint, it kind of sets it in place. So yeah. Jansard, M. Graham is all I use. Terry, I haven't tried M-Gram yet. I like Rosa Gallery. Yeah, Rosa Gallery are great too. They're so new to me, so I cannot comment enough, but the paints I did try are great. I've used them in multiple paintings, actually. Jansart, I used them for years and absolutely can't switch. Others dry out and they're so vibrant. Yes, they are. Aaron Lycan, I did see Da Vinci Maestro travel brushes that are screw fit instead of friction. Interesting. Friction fit like Escoda brushes. My only complaint is the price. One size 6 costs the same as 2 Escoda brushes I mentioned. Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how convenient the screw fit is going to be. I mean, it could be great. I just don't know. But yeah. Gina, I love watching Daniel Smith channel. I have a nice box with my paints. Buy them. Shinan are awesome. I got the 32 50 milliliter tubes. Oh, that's cool. Gina, are you happy with them? Like, do you find that a lot of them are useful? A lot of these paints? Because I remember I tried to buy a set and all I could find was these huge 32 tubes. And I was like, I don't need all of these. I know I won't use them. I just looked for like something similar to M-Grams. Like, I love the way they do it. They have like a 5 set. Which is perfect. 5 set, and it has a theme, like a night scene or a countryside or whatever. I don't remember exactly the sets, but I love the way they do it. And I couldn't find a smaller set, but if you're going to tell me that these are useful, I may end up getting them. To the art, what is your favorite watercolor paper other than Arches? I actually like Saunders Waterford better than Arches. Saunders Waterford is the one I mainly use. The logo, I'm not sure. But my paper of choice is Saunders Waterford. Then it's Arches, and then it's Bauhong, and then it's Fabriano. So I love it. Megan, Michael Harding's watercolors were only just released this past December. Okay, so that could be why you aren't familiar with them. Yeah, I remember seeing them somewhere on YouTube, probably. Someone probably made a review of them, but I didn't click the video. I haven't watched it, so but I remember them. Marjorie, M-Gram sits on my studio palette, and of the 20-plus artist grades I've owned, it's in my favorites. One day soon, I hope it's doing more than sitting. Yeah, I hope so too. If you get a chance to paint and the energy is there, that would be great. And those are great ones to use. Yeah, so I think we can start wrapping this one up. If you have any kind of final questions, comments, whatever, we can do that now. But we've caught up, so let me know. Once again, just to conclude, this is going to be next Tuesday's tutorial. I enjoyed this one tremendously. I love it. I get inspired when I see colors. You'll hear me talk about it in the video, but whenever there's like a color and then a darker version that better shows the saturation, I love that. Then I will show you this one once it's done, but this is still a work in progress that I really, really like. It's a nice scene. It's going to be a challenge. There's a lot of nuances there with light and shadow. But I'm going to enjoy this scene a lot. I have a feeling. Jan's art in the US Saunders is too expensive. It's so expensive. Yeah, I'm sure. Joey Best, got to run and do real work. No, thank you, Liron. Yep, same here. I'll probably go back to painting or just relax or eat. I'm starting to get hungry too. Gina, I love the Shinhan M-Gram Mission Gold. I'm happy with all of them. I do have several boxes of cheap ones. General Crafts and Magic Fly. A waste of money, but cheap. Yeah, I had a brand. I don't remember. Was it Artscape or something like that? That was just terrible quality. Couldn't use them. It was done. Chris, good morning from Northern California. My apologies because we're wrapping things up. But I do want to thank you and everyone who's here who joined. Trying to make enough videos because I've been taking it a little chill lately. By the way, about Vietnam, because some people asked, we're gonna visit. We're gonna fly on the 30th of August. Till then, things as usual. I will try to stack up enough content for when we're not here. We'll probably at least do a video a week, but I'll have to schedule them in advance, so we'll see about that. And yeah, you know, everything is good. The knee's gonna be fine. We'll recover, and hopefully I'll have a bit more energy because it is a bit tiring. Nancy, thank you. Remember to check out the Whiskey Painters. Yeah, I have the tab open. I'll check it out later. Mini paintings, that's cool. Tuta Art, I used to work on Montmartre 300 grams cotton paper, and it's so easy to use. I never get cauliflower edges, but I don't find it in my area anymore. Yeah, I had no idea Momart had paper too. I mean, I know their art supplies, but I didn't know they had paper. It's interesting that you don't get cauliflowers, etc. That's cool. I don't know if it's different or better than Saunders or Arch, but it would be interesting to try it out. I didn't know it existed. Maybe I'll look it up on Amazon or something like that. Mark, thank you for your time and being here. Thank you so much. Kerry, yeah, Daniel Smith has a small set too. I like it. That's why I have a lot of Daniel Smith, both the primary and the secondary set and the essentials. I love them. As a set structure, they're great. Aaron, thank you so much. Gina, thank you. I love your personality and how personal you are. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know how to do it any other way. I'm not good at being official. Marjorie, see you on Facebook. Yeah, thank you so much, Marjorie. I'm gonna keep you updated. I've been using all the things you sent me. I just haven't updated. So my apologies on that. I've been using the palettes. They're great. I mean, I love that there's a variety of warms, yellows, reds, all kinds, browns. I love that. Thank you so much. You nailed it, so I really, really do appreciate it. John, thank you so much as well. Much, much appreciated. Pico de Gallo, looking forward to painting from Vietnam. Yeah, hopefully I will be able to, at least after the fact, share some. And I love Pico de Gallo, by the way. Mark, thank you so much. Megan, thank you so much. Jacqueline, thank you as well for being here. Just ordered a tube of M. Graham turquoise. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let me know how you like it. So we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you once again. We'll talk to you soon. There will be a video on Saturday. There will be a video on next Tuesday. They're already scheduled both. And we'll see from there. I hope to film many more and at least stick to 3 videos per week schedule for a couple of weeks, hopefully. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you again real soon. Take care. Keep creating. Enjoy yourself. Art is super fun. We'll talk soon.